Well, now we got it to save data, to do the validation rules. I'm now going to do the search, which is the next thing that's required in the question paper. So the search is just going to be on the search button here, and I'm going to get the user to type in, and, or don't forget, I should say all the way through, annotate your code in as you're going through. So apostrophes throughout. You can see I've got txt full name, I've got right line, client store data, full name, client store data, weight, etc. All of that is saving data and so on throughout, and you know that it's the client store data. So make sure you use meaningful names, but also that you annotate the code in and say. So if this line here is going to blanks out the previous, well, try and spell it right, of course, previous data, ready for new input, or something like that. Now, what I'm going to do is the search. So what I'm going to say, I'm going to assume dim found as Boolean. This is a linear search in essence. And I'm going to say to start with that it's false. So I haven't found the record. And I'm going to annotate that with, this annotation will be set to true if the record is found in the linear search. I'm going to ask the user to enter a name, dim search as string. Let's move the mouse out of the way so you can see this. And I'm going to use an input box. You can use a text box on the form if you want to, you know, a txt search or something. And the input box is just saying, enter a name to find. So we'll find someone's name. And that in essence invokes this. If you watch this, it gives you a pop-up input box. You can have it as a text box here if you want, above the search box, whichever you fancy. Okay, entirely up to you. Now what I'm also going to do, I'm now going to use, as the examiner did, and then I'll use the database one later on, as the examiner did, to read all the lines. I'm certainly not going to write that all in. All right, so I'm going to copy that onto my form. I'm going to paste it. So this is going to be called client's data table. I'm going to call it client's data table, and it's going to read all lines from the clients.txt file. All right, so what that's going to do is populate an array with all that data. It's going to look something similar to this. So all the data, forget the headings, it won't have the headings, it'll just create that. In the file, in the text file, that's what's there. So G. Lewis, 97, so all that information, it is going to put into a table like that. And then what it's going to do is it's going to read a line of that, and then we're going to say, right, if we're looking for Brian Davis, 1, 20, so it's 1 from position 1, 20 characters. We're going to see if that equals the search criteria. Or then we're going to go to I is next, next, next. And when we find it, then we will finish the search. Okay? If we don't find it, obviously we need to solve that issue in any case and get output everything. Note that full name starts at position 1, weight starts at, well, if that's 20, that's at position 21 for 3 characters. That must be therefore at 24, because it's 20 and 3, that's position 23, so that's 24 for 12 characters. And the same with this, it's going to be a position 24 for 12 characters, and therefore this starts at 36, and it's for 10 characters. All right, if you want to add to your search at a later point, to search for all full members, you put from position 36, 10 characters. Okay, so let's go and have a look. Let's get the rest of that coding done. So now I can, for I equals, by all means use the search from the client, the activities table if you want to, but I'm going to say ubound, which is the largest value in that array, ubound client's data table. It'll automatically put the next in, and you remember me saying I like to see next I written rather than it just saying next. And what I'm going to say, if search equals, now it's quite a long sentence this, but mid, and it's basically from the mid point of clients data table, position I, that's row I, comma, start position 1, 20 characters. If that equals the search item, then we've found it. Oh, found equals true. And then what I'm going to do, I'm going to output the information. So txt, I'll repeat the first name, txt text equals, and now this, I'm going to output the value. So it's mid from client's table. Notice, let's go to the table here. So I'm saying I want to output that value. So it's from position 1, 20 characters. When I do wait, I want from position 21, 3 characters. Position 24, 12 characters. Position 36, 10 characters. So that's what I'm going to build now in that. So let's do client's data table. Should be lowercase for me. Comma 1, comma 20. txt, let's do wait this time, dot text equals mid, and you build it up, client data table, comma, now it's position 21 and it's for 3 characters. txt contact number dot text equals mid, client, you could copy and paste this of course from the previous row. It's position 24 and I'm thinking to myself, how many characters is it? Well, I've written it down, it's 12 characters. So it's 12 characters. And then the final one, cmb type.text equals mid, open brackets, client's data table, open brackets I, comma, and it's from position 36, and I remember it being 10 characters. Okay, so that should then do the search. If I just save my work. If we then go and run that, and we'll have a look for Brian Davis. Go and search. Oh, sorry, I've click cancel. That's not where I'm putting it. So if we put Brian Davis, search, doesn't find anyone. If I have a look at that, even though he's in there. Now the issue is these spaces here. It's trying to compare Brian Davis with Brian Davis with a number of spaces after it. And it's never going to find them. So what I need to do is, I could type in Brian Davis with all the spaces in, which would then find, that may not be enough. No, it's not enough. Or, as they do in the example, just use trim. Now in the past we've used rtrim to trim from the right hand side, or you can just use the new function trim to trim, gets rid of all spaces. All right, so now when I run that, now let's go and search, and now I look for Brian Davis and all his information comes up. Search, we'll have a look for Shazia Barry and save. OK, and it finds the information. Now we do have an issue, of course. What happens if isn't there? Well, we don't alert anyone to that, but I've set this variable found equals true there. So what I'm just going to do at the end is say if found is still equals false, found still equals false. If found equals false, then I'm just going to tell users message box client not found. Right, and we'll say that. So let's run that again and search for A, B, C, D, E. Obviously doesn't exist. Client not found. Search G. Lewis, is he in there? He's there. Search, is Shazia Umar in there? Sorry, of Barry in there? Client not found. Well, we do have issues there with lowercase and uppercase, so make sure when you are typing in the full name you can do that. Now it's entirely up to you then how you do the search. You can do the search, find anyone who is under a certain weight or something like that. It doesn't ask for that in the particular work that's there.